Now, I'm a huge horror movie fan, so I was super excited to go catch Conjuring 2 tonight in an early premiere. And The Conjuring, of course, came out 2013. For myself, is a movie which I absolutely loved. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and probably the best horror movie I've seen in the last 10 to 15 years to that point. So I was really excited to see the second one, albeit it is true that most horror sequels don't usually live up to the billing. I was hoping this one will kind of break that mold. So does this movie bring up the scares as the first one did? Let's find out. And with that, I welcome you to another episode of The Romento, where my goal as always is to enhance your movie watching experience. So director James Wan returns to helm the second part of this series, which I was really happy to hear. This guy's one of the best horror movie directors out there. Of course, he gave us Saw, the first Conjuring, Insidious. He really knows what he's doing, and glad to see him branching out. He took on Furious 7 last year, which is super successful, and he's taking on Aquaman coming up for DC. So I'm really looking forward to see what he does from this point forward. Getting back to Wan himself, he's the real star of this movie. His direction it's spot on. This movie, now don't get me wrong, it's not as good as the first Conjuring, but having said that, this is an excellent horror movie. There has been a better horror movie since The Conjuring, since this one. Nothing that really comes close, maybe last year's It Follows. Now, much like the first Conjuring, this is also based off a true story. Of course, we got the return of the Warners, who are the loving couple who, of course, study the paranormal activity, I guess, out there. They actually work for the Catholic Church. Ed Warner can actually perform exorcisms and all that. So this one kind of brings them back to, they get called on all the way over to England, where there's this family out there, particularly this little girl who's being possessed by someone who used to live in the house. Now, the premise is nothing new. It's kind of similar to what we saw in the first Conjuring, so it doesn't bring nothing new to the table. But that notwithstanding, it's the execution of this movie. It's the execution of the scares which really shine through, and James Wan is a master at it. He sets up so many good scares. Some of them might be cheap thrill scares, but he does them so well. He really knows how to set up a scene, maintain tension for long periods of time that you normally don't get in a lot of horror movies, and it pays off big. Great shots. He knows how to set up the angles right, get you looking, misdirection, all that. So it's an excellent job. This movie is no doubt scary, and at the end of the day, like I always said, a horror movie just needs to be scary to be good. But this goes beyond that. It's actually a well-made movie. It's got good characters. The Warners on screen they have such great chemistry, and you actually care about them, and which elevates what's going on, because you're not just looking at teenagers and hoping they get killed in some gruesome fashion. You really want to be sure these guys make it out in one piece, and which adds to the tension of the movie. Now, with like most horror movies, there's a lot of great imagery in there. There's a lot of cool shots that James Wan produces here. Great music, great tension that he builds. Again, he does such a really good job. I was really pleased to come out of this movie. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. I was only hoping it would be. Like I said, most horror sequels end up falling really flat. This one, quite the opposite. It exceeded my expectations going into it. If you're a horror movie fan, I can't tell you to go watch this movie fast enough. You're gonna absolutely love this movie, no doubt about it. If you're not a horror movie fan, obviously you don't care what we have to say here. But I assume if you're watching this review, it's because you are a horror movie fan. You probably should have liked the first Conjuring. If you did, this will not let you down. Go in there with whatever expectations you want to go in with. They're gonna be met. So if you've seen The Conjuring, did you like it? Do you think it's as good as the first, or just close enough? Let me know. Comment below as always. And don't forget to subscribe below and feed my need to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.